Good morning, everyone. How you doing, guys? Thanks for joining the seminar this morning. My name is Mark Ponsonby. I'm just going to share my screen with you now in a second, and it's got the slides for the live streaming workshop. So we'll go through those bit by bit. I intend to take a short break in an hour's time, guys, just for probably just probably 5 to 10 minutes, just to give you a little bit of a break for a few minutes. So probably around 12 o'clock for a few minutes. But we'll keep an eye and see how that's going. So okay, so welcome everyone. I'm going to share my screen with you here now and just put the slides up. So. Okay. Can everyone see that okay?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, welcome to the live streaming workshop, folks, and using live streaming to create an income for musicians. If you have any questions along the way, certainly there's a small number of us, guys. You can shout them out as we go along. I've also allocated a little bit of time to kind of questions and answers at the end of the session also. So if you either save your questions for later, or by all means just jump in at any stage and call out any queries you have. So I've dropped my email in there as well. If anybody wants to get in contact or wants to follow up with any questions in the coming days, just feel free to email me at any stage, guys. I'm happy to respond to anything and help out any way I can. So, okay, using live streaming to create an income for musicians. Here we go. Okay, a little bit of an introduction to start, folks. So I'm sure you all probably have seen there's been an amazing boom in artist live streaming since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. It has offered one of the only kind of platforms or main platforms to artists to kind of express their work. And there is a great positive aspect to that. A lot of people think it can be negative of the pandemic, but we're talking about an income stream here that's generally kind of it's come out of nowhere and really been boosted by the pandemic as opposed to being affected by it in any way. The industries that have diversified into digital are the ones probably best likely to bounce back quickly after the coronavirus threat has passed. And this is, it's important to kind of be aware that that our industry in music, or if it's music you're in fully, it's an industry that has a lot of potential in live streaming, and you might see that as we go through the seminar. For example, if we look at streaming growth on its own, live streaming has grown 99% year on year between April 2019 and April 2020, but also there's been a 99% increase over the past 3 years. So it's almost doubled as we've been going along. A lot of that relates to gaming also, but we have seen a lot of music streamers certainly since about March taking on the live streaming platforms as well, and we'll talk through many of those as well, and also kind of the benefits of the different types of platforms. 82% of viewers find that live stream content is favorable to a brand's regular social posts. So, for example, if I'm a company or a musician, and I'm doing just regular social posts about different parts of music and stuff, 82% of people tend to prefer a little bit of live stream content. It's real, it's in the moment, it's engaging, and it may be a new thing for a lot of us in 2020, but it's certainly very exciting for the viewers also. And with 5G coming around the corner, we can expect bandwidth speeds to be by 10 times faster. So whatever the negative effects of 5G, certainly in terms of your delivery of your content and your live streaming, it's going to be 10 times faster than it currently is at the moment. And hopefully all the different areas that hopefully we can get 5G into the different areas to enable that. I find myself from live streaming that bandwidth issues can be one of the main kind of problems that you can encounter. And a surprising little fun fact, I had no idea this at all, but until I started looking into this a little bit more, but the Middle East and Africa have the most live streamers in the world. So almost 30% of the live streaming happens from those territories alone. Okay. So just a quick little graph here. The few platforms, and a lot of this relates to Twitch gaming and YouTube gaming, but also the numbers that we're looking at in the screen at the moment also contain or also include all the music streaming numbers. For example, hours watched to April 2020 with 1.4 billion, 1.491 billion, also includes music and general chat. So you can see there's a year-on-year growth of 98 to 100% growth. So it's expanding at a dramatic rate currently at the moment. The main and the largest platform is for live streaming is Twitch. I'll give you a little bit of a detail through most of Twitch. I'm not too sure if any of you are using Twitch or what platforms we're using at the moment, but I'll give a rundown of most of the main platforms throughout the presentation. So as you can see, the minute Twitch is leagues ahead of even YouTube currently at the moment. Okay, what does this mean for musicians in 2020 that we've now been kind of put off the road? We haven't been able to tour. We haven't been able to get our music in front of people in the same way as we're normally accustomed to and we're used to. Well, it means, first of all, it's a new income stream that can be certainly used to our advantage if we know how to monetize it. And that's really what this seminar is about, is how to monetize the income stream, or how to monetize live streaming as an income stream and add it to the other forms of income streaming you may be able to do currently at the minute, whether it's from royalty income or other types. But there's a great benefit in live streaming, and we'll see that as we go along now. You don't need a lot of tech or a lot of know-how to get started. Basically, if I take it to its basic level, you can start this with basically just an iPhone or a camera phone, and that gets you started. Now, as you progress through it, you may want to expand your equipment and invest in other equipment, but really to get started, anyone with a phone can get started on live streaming. And following a few little tips and a few little kind of tips and know-how about it, even with a phone, you can get some great live streams going and have some fantastic results from them also. You can do it from home, so find a space at home that's comfortable, that looks well on camera, that has a nice lighting. For example, the room I'm in at the moment is just probably not the best at this particular time for the light, but I mean, like this, I try to if I'm doing any kind of Zooms or anything, I try to find a room that has a bit more light in it. Live streaming is an incredibly engaging medium for both fans and artists, and I've been live streaming now for consistently for once or twice a week for about the past 34 weeks since the pandemic started. I did a little bit beforehand, but nothing like since the pandemic started. So I have found it to be almost more engaging than an actual real gig with real people. I found the people that are on my live streams and the people that come to visit live streams, and I'm also a fan of going out to take to the virtual shows, etc. I find it to be very, very engaging from a viewer's point of view and a fan's point of view also. And from an artist point of view, you get to engage very closely, and it brings a lot of those fans and viewers into your community really well. So from a monetization point of view, it's a great place to promote your merchandise or to gain your subscribers, which you can put into your, include in your mailing list, and make offers to them. So it's a way of monetizing those subscribers, a way of monetizing those viewers, and it can be very subtle. Depending on your approach to it, if you adopt a subtle attitude, it doesn't come across as being too markety or too salesy. Really, it should be as natural as possible to kind of a subtle call to action in the middle of your streams that basically has the right effect. So it's also good if you have a strategy, or if you short-term or long-term plan. It's worth integrating live streaming into your plan to grow your fan base online. It's a very good way of reaching them, a very cheap and economic way of reaching them, and really you're talking about how much your time is worth more than anything else, as the cost of live streaming is fairly low just to get started. Facebook, for example, will push your reach on live streaming more so than any video content or any normal picture or post content. So it's a good time. It's exciting for musicians to do this. Okay, so the types of content we can have for live streaming, just here's a few examples just to kind of get your thoughts going on it a little bit. If you have any other ideas as well and you want to share with them, just please be free to add in as we're going along, or if you want to jump on in any. The most obvious, I guess, for musicians or for artists in some way would be a live performance or a live gig. These are great scheduled gigs. You can, obviously you can set up a paywall and charge for them if you want to. You can do them free and you can schedule them. So we will be talking about monetization and the different ways of monetizing live streams. But once you get on there, you'll find that there's multiple ways of monetizing within the stream. Other good types of content, you can create questions and answers. Viewers, fans love to get a little bit of insight, do a talk about your latest music release, do a talk about your upcoming releases, you can do Q&As on some of your equipment breakdown. You can do a quick simple Q&As on generally, what you might feel that your fans are interested in. It's your brand. It should be your kind of content, and you probably understand your music fans better than I would understand mine. So I kind of know what they're looking for, find out what they're looking for, and give them that content and something that's deliverable in a live streaming form. Q&A works well. Q&A, questions and answers, works well. On to the next one. Private Zoom gigs are basically in this kind of format we're looking at the minute with the seminar format or workshop format. A live gig runs the same with just a host. You can create a paywall so that they can pay to get in. So you're essentially monetizing a ticket price on the way into the gig. Be conscious with Zoom, it has a 40-minute free service, and if you want to do a gig that's longer than 40 minutes, just to make sure that you kind of subscribe to Zoom and that you're allowed to broadcast for longer than 40 minutes. You can run podcasts through live streams. You can interview, for example, you can interview maybe your some local artists yourself, bring some, maybe share a lot or do a collaboration and bring a local artist in. They can do it on site from their own place, and with certain live streaming software, it enables you to similar to Zoom, to run an interview with two people on the screen. And you can conduct that interview over some of the software. Zoom is an example of how you could do the software. I'm going to I'll look into some of the other ones as we're going through this seminar and give an explanation as to how they work also. Coming up with regular content on a weekly basis. Sorry?
Question mark. How many on Zoom? How many can you take on at any one time?
I've been on Zoom conferences with up to 500 people. So I guess maybe, I'm not saying there's an upper limit on it, but I
think you can have 40, Mark, without paying.
40 without paying, okay, yeah. And on the paid tier, obviously, maybe there's no limit on it. So I mean, as I say, I've been on Zoom calls with about 500 in attendance in seminars. So it gives you an idea of the kind of the scope of the size. You can do something on Zoom. Now, it may be hard to see all those little faces in a gig, but it's something, it's okay. So when creating different types of content, it's a good idea maybe to, just switch it up a little bit. For example, I've just thrown down a few examples there. You could do a jukebox night where you can do special requests. I've seen some artists very successful in this, where they charge, like, they put up a list of a few, maybe 50 or 100 songs, and they say, like, you can pick and choose your song, pay €1 per song, or €5 for 3 songs, or €2 per song, €5 for 3, and get special requests in there. We can, so it's people just drop a tip in their link into the PayPal, and it can be quite a successful way of monetizing a stream, like a jukebox theme stream, for example. Other ideas work really. 1980s themes, 1990s themes. If you're into, you could pick an artist spotlight, like doing maybe all Bob Dylan songs, or all Bruce Springsteen songs, or all Fleetwood Mac. So you can do a little bit of that. Be careful with certain copyright, but I mean, we'll talk about the copyright elements in a minute of how to get past some of those. And then of course guest slots as well. As restrictions in the pandemic opens a little bit, I mean, I had some great success with inviting some guests onto my live streams over the past few months. It brings a little bit of variety. It's nice for your viewer to have someone else, and it also spotlights a new artist, and you can give them a little bit of a foot out or a leg up into your streaming, and you can share your audience a little bit, and it's interesting for the viewer to have a little bit of not just yourself on there all the time. So those are a few ideas. You can have educational content. It could be, for example, maybe you teach some music, or perhaps you maybe teach a little bit of songwriting. It could be about what kind of equipment you use on the studio. It could be what kind of musical equipment you're using for your recording, for how you do your writing. Really take your viewers and your fans and give them a little bit of an inside view as to maybe some of your processes, so that also works as good content, and you can schedule those at, just different from a gig. And as I say, also special interest, ask your audience what they like to see from you. I've seen some great live streamers, even musicians doing their Sunday morning cooking when they're cooking soup, 10 or 15 minutes standing over in their kitchen, and what they're doing, putting into their soup. So even things like special interest, like cooking, like gardening, anything you're interested in from a musician, you don't know your culture and your community might be interested in the same thing. Could be guitars. I'm a huge guitar. I could sit down and do a special interest and do a Zoom call or a live stream talking about guitars only, and that type of thing. So I mean, it's really about what you can come up with to present in a format that works online. And these are all just some examples for you. Okay. Okay. Once you've decided what type of content or the regular kind of content you want to prepare or to produce, you need to look at and decide what streaming platform you want to choose. So I've listed some of the main ones here. Now there are multiple ones this year, and a lot more have come out since in 2020. But these are some of the main ones, and we'll go through I'll talk through some of the main kind of advantages and disadvantages of using some of these. The most obvious ones and the easiest access for all of us: YouTube, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live. Very easy to get started, really just a push of a button on your phone gets you started in almost any of those. YouTube has certain restrictions around using your desk, using your phone, for example, for live streaming. You need a certain amount of subscribers before you can actually do that. But I mean, it works on your desktop or on your laptop with any number of subscribers, so you can also get started on YouTube. Twitch is owned by Amazon Video and is the most popular, as I mentioned already, the most popular live streaming platform in the planet at the moment. And we'll talk about the different monetization settings that they have on their platform, similar to YouTube, but just a little bit more in depth on Twitch. It's quite a great platform for streamers. Periscope is owned by Twitter and was one of the kind of the early live streaming platforms. So anybody that's used Periscope initially at the beginning will get it's similar to Facebook Live, where it broadcasts onto Twitter, makes an announcement on your Twitter feed, so you can share it throughout that. There's a way of kind of sharing it. Stage It is a paid subscription model. For example, you can, virtual live concerts, etc., where you can set up a ticketed system for payment to access into the gigs. And we'll talk a little bit about Stage It also. Maestro, similar to Stage It, but it can work also on a subscription basis for your fans. Okay, so those are the main streaming platforms that we'll be taking a look at and talking about today. Okay, so YouTube Live, as I've mentioned, has certain restrictions. You do need 1,000 subscribers in order to go live from your phone. So building up your YouTube channel, regular content, in order to get to the stage where you can monetize your YouTube channel, you must have 10,000 hours watched in the previous 12 months, and you must have those 1,000 subscribers. If you can do that, you can also monetize your YouTube channel, so that you can also earn an income off that. And if you're doing live streams on YouTube, it will mean that your watch time, your viewers numbers will all be a lot higher, and you have a greater chance of monetization on that channel and earning more money from it. Facebook Live, my preferred one currently at the moment. Hopefully it still holds out with all the copyright issues and stuff coming to it. It's very easy to use. It's got great reach, plugged into your socials so that you can share it. You can do a lot of pre and post promotion of your stream on Facebook, as you can with YouTube also. But Facebook being on the same platform, there's a lot of tools there that you can really increase your viewer numbers, increase your reach, etc. on Facebook. Instagram Live, it's okay. Unfortunately, I don't think Instagram Live is up to the same standard as YouTube or Facebook or some of the paid platforms at the moment. You're restricted to only using your phone, which means that you can't use certain overlays. Your audio is not, you can't perfect your audio. You can buy USB microphones or condenser microphones and try and work on it. But in terms of combining your audio and your video and to give it a bit of more of a show experience for your audience, it's difficult to do that on Instagram just yet. They haven't quite reached the same level. Also, they're restricted to 60 minutes. So if you're on for 60 minutes, you have to quit your stream after 60 minutes and start again. So it wouldn't be my preferred. I would say there's a lot more cons to using Instagram currently at the moment. However, if you have experience with Instagram Live and you want to share it on the seminar, by all means. I've tried it a few times. It doesn't really work as well for me. The content's not of the same standard or same production standard as I can get on YouTube or Facebook. And I kind of on my viewers journey, they've already kind of seen a higher level of production. It'll be kind of a little bit of a step back, moving back to Instagram Live again. Also, it's only on their stories function, so it doesn't really feature on their news feed for Instagram. So it's not as easy to find unless you're scrolling through stories. Okay, so as I mentioned, Twitch is the largest one, largest streaming platform. And here's some facts and we'll talk about how it works, how you can gain and how you can monetize this platform as well too. So it's the world's leading live streaming platform for gamers, but is also now a growing number of musicians are using the platform. It was established in 2011, purchased by Amazon in 2014, so it's now owned and run by Amazon. 3 million streamers every month and 15 million average daily streamers on Twitch. 27,000 of those earn income through the partner program, which is similar to YouTube's partner program. Okay, so in order to qualify for the partner program in Twitch, you also have to meet certain criteria similar to YouTube criteria of the 10,000 hours and also the 1,000 subscribers. For example, with Twitch, you need to be able to on average you need to have about 500 viewers on your streams, and also you need to have you need to be streaming probably 3 to 4 times a week in order to get access to the partner program. Once you're in the partner program, it has some great benefits. For example, for every subscriber that hits on your channel and pays a subscription for your channel, Twitch will split that. It's on a $4.99 or on a $5 subscription. Twitch split the subscription 50-50 between the streamer and themselves. So you can imagine if you can build up your subscribers, you can make a considerable amount of income from subscription, some shared subscription on Twitch, for example. Okay, so how does Twitch work? Twitch works a little bit the same as typically like going onto YouTube or going onto Facebook. You once you've got an account, you set up your live stream, you broadcast from that area, and then you can share it across the Twitch network, which has their own subscribers. How to monetize your live stream when you get onto Twitch, for example. You could call out for PayPal or Amazon donations, which is kind of one of the most common forms of monetization for most streamers, is to put a PayPal link in the description of their video, or also to put a PayPal or a Venmo link in the description of and an overlay over their live stream so that people can click on it. A paypal.me, for example, takes you straight into a more direct link and if you can encourage any of your viewers to use the PayPal link .me link and set up one for yourself. Also, it's a good way of directing your viewers right to a link that they can donate or they can tip in your tip jar immediately without having to do too much playing around in PayPal. It's a very direct link. So number one, PayPal subscriptions, PayPal donations. Number two, subscriptions, and a 50-50 split between Twitch and the streamer. But again, you must be in the partner program to benefit from, or the affiliate program or the partner program to be able to benefit from that 50-50 split on subscriptions. So if you can build up your audience on Twitch, maybe something to work towards. Okay, so Twitch sell emoticons, which is probably a new word for 2020, but they sell emoticons, which are basically likes and emojis that you can post and share as a viewer. You can, so as your fans are watching the stream, they can send emoticons or send emojis through to your live stream. They cost about 10 cents for a bit. I think it's 10 cents for a bit, but I'm not sure, something around that there. So for every cent that goes into Twitch, you can earn an income from a call out, for example, to hit the like button or hit the love button or whatever, and you can get some cash in that way. So it's kind of a call to action in the middle of your stream. Again, if you're in the partner program with Twitch or you're in an affiliate program, you're allowed to, they will place ads across your channel, ads across your live streams. Sometimes can be a little bit annoying for live streamers who may not want ads going across their streams. But you may have other video content that you can post onto Twitch, so you can also monetize and earn income from that too. So it's it's up to yourself whether you want to have ads running on your live streams in Twitch or not. Sponsorship. Live streams are, most live streams, you can approach people looking for sponsorship, and you can use those links from, say, if you go to a brand for whatever reason. It could be guitar strings, it could be the local store that sells vegan products. It could be a local cafe. You think about outside the box a little bit, and you can promote those brands within your space, on your channel, on your space, on your stream. So it's not unheard of for people to look for sponsorship and get cash sponsorship for mentions and to promote a brand on there that they maybe believe in or want to push themselves, and have done a deal with either local or national or international. Could be anything that works. The affiliate links, as I say, similar to sponsorship, and that if you have affiliate links, for example, if you're running a live stream and you have a mention, and you can mention one of your affiliates, something that you have a discount with. Amazon, for example, run an affiliate system where if you mention the affiliate link when you're purchasing, you may get 5-10% discount off your product. So it's kind of one of Amazon's services that they run through their platform. And finally, on Twitch, of course, sell merchandise is almost nearly the most obvious. A call to action with any kind of merchandise you can think of, in terms of as a music artist. Now we'll talk about some of those ideas in a little while, but really the sky's the limit. If you can put your name and your brand on it, you should be able to get it produced, and you can bring it for sale onto your streams and promote those products through your website or online, whatever way you want. And a call to action through your streams is a great way of doing that. So that's basically where Twitch is. It's a great monetization platform, especially in relation to the bits and the subscriptions. If you can reach the level of affiliate and partner, there's a potential to earn some good income from that platform on its own. You know, long-term, short-term goal, maybe over 6 months or a year, 18 months, you could build up your channel to that where you're getting into those numbers, and you're really setting yourself up to have a kind of a continuous stream of income through that platform. Okay, so after Twitch, I'm going to jump past some of the jump into one of the paid platforms now at the moment. And as I mentioned, StageIt is more kind of a virtual concerts. So where YouTube, Facebook, even Twitch have a certain amount, there's a certain amount of kind of like free content and that you can get in there, and it's more of their video channels, and also you can share the content. There's a large free element in delivering where you're kind of looking for your monetization through donations or selling merchandise. StageIt is similar to it's a virtual concert style setup. Okay, so it's an online venue for live or interactive performances. It gives the viewer kind of a front row seat, and you can also give them a backstage experience with some kind of insider look as to what's going on behind the scenes, and make them feel a little bit part of your, make them part of your kind of part of your live stream or part of your concert. They feel a little bit more involved with it. In terms of their cost and how much it costs to use StageIt, StageIt keeps 20% of the ticket price. So whenever concerts or whatever performances you're running, it's 20% across the board from StageIt. Again, it's just a matter of setting up an account and inviting people onto your show or promoting your performance whenever it's scheduling it and promoting it whenever it's going to happen. How Twitch work it is, and it's down to my next point down there, but I mean, StageIt have their own currency, which they call notes. StageIt, a StageIt note, and it can be purchased. So a one note is worth 10 cents. These can also be used to tip the artist as they're watching the show also. Any tickets for the show must be purchased with StageIt currency. So a little bit like, I suppose you can, like a little bit like Bitcoin or like a virtual currency, but at StageIt own their own, and so they run it out there they run that through their own platform. It's been quite a successful platform. It's nearly it's the largest kind of paywall platform available for, like online virtual performances. And lots of, international artists also use it for their online concerts. One great thing about it, and one advantage of the StageIt platform, is that the performances are not archived or duplicated in any way. So it's a once-off experience. The viewer really, unless they're recording it on their phone, it's a once-off experience. It can't be recreated again. So it's like going to a concert. You pay your ticket, you go to your concert, you buy your merch on the way out again, or you tip it, or you tip your artist, and that's it. It doesn't get broadcast on YouTube. It can't get broadcast up on your socials. You can't repackage it again and use it as new content. So it does have that exclusivity about it. So great for once-off performances or even regular performances where you want to charge a ticket price and not just give free content and rely on donations or merchandise. At the moment, the performances are limited to 30 minutes on StageIt, but after that, you can add an encore set for 20 minutes at the end of your performance if you so wish to. So add up to 20 minutes. So altogether, you got 50 minutes on a StageIt performance, which is maybe enough for most people, and maybe a little bit limiting. So, but it's just good to know where their limits are in relation to how long you can broadcast for. Very, again, incredibly interactive with the tipping facility of when a viewer purchases the StageIt currency. Okay, probably too early for a break, guys. So I'm just going to carry on and keep on past that one. Okay, so the equipment for live streaming now. So I mentioned earlier on in equipment for live streaming that really what we only need to start off is a smartphone to get started. You can certainly invest a lot of money in live streaming equipment, but if you have a phone, and most people do these days, It's just a matter of setting your phone up in a room, in a situation, pressing the go button, and getting started on live streaming. So an iPhone or an Android, something with good quality, clean your lens, and away you go. It's simple as that there. Getting into a little bit more advanced, if you want to start looking at DSLR cameras, Sony probably recommended over Canon, and Nikon. Nikon and Canon require a little bit of extra technology to sync up the live stream. So if you're using a Mac, for example, you may need to use a capture card to run the DSLR camera, as the HDMI input and outputs of the cameras are quite restrictive, and they often don't give you the same quality as, or the USB doesn't give you the same quality as a HDMI. So a capture card will increase your overall streaming quality. A DSLR camera can function as a webcam. You can also purchase a webcam. Here at the moment on the Zoom, for example, I'm just using the webcam on my laptop, which is probably, again, sufficient to get started, but not great quality. I tend to think that a phone is a lot better quality. If you're live streaming to an audience and your quality is not good, the drop-off rate is very high and very fast. So you want to really keep them engaged. You want to bring them into a world where you feel that the production is of a certain standard. So lighting, for example, which is one of the other points down there, can help a lot with that there. You can stream through your laptop, or you can connect a phone to your laptop and you can stream through that as well. And we'll talk about the software that enables us to do that coming up now in a second also. Other types of equipment that are very beneficial is an audio interface. At the moment, with an iPhone or with an Android, you're really working off the phone's microphone. Currently at the moment on my laptop, for example, I'm just working off the built-in audio on the laptop. If you want your audio to be a little bit more professional, if you want to raise your production on your audio, an audio interface like you would use in a studio, or a small breakout, a little Sapphire, or even like a little cheap Behringer one, where you have certain inputs where you can plug in a mic, you can plug in a guitar, plug in a keyboard, and connect those to your computer. For streaming, it'll give you an all-over better audio source. Yeah, you may be wanting to use loop stations, backing tracks, etc., and an audio interface will also give you more kind of flexibility with sound, and will be able to mix your sound better for the live stream, so it goes out to the people and they're hearing a much higher quality audio than just a phone, than just a mic off your phone. It's not necessary. It's again, when I started live streaming also, and most people just start with their phone and just a microphone. As you go along, you may be able to little additions to your phone. You could purchase a condenser microphone, a USB condenser microphone that attaches to your phone. Might give you better audio to start with if it's not an audio interface you're looking for, and again, it'll just connect to your phone and give you much cleaner audio. But an audio interface is recommended to go beyond just a kind of simple kind of lapel mic on a phone, or something simple that connects like a USB. Lighting is incredibly important when it comes to live streams. Pay particular attention to backlighting, for example, if you're sitting with windows behind you. Natural light is very, 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 is probably the best type of light, depending on what time of the day you're doing it. Currently at the minute, we're going into winter. It's difficult if you're live streaming in the evening, to get lighting without, to get natural lighting coming through windows, for example. So if you're sitting on the opposite side of a window, it'll give you the most natural light, and it'll look well in your stream. All of the natural light coming through a window. Box lighting is quite cheap nowadays, and if you check on Amazon or check on any of the kind of those online sites, you can pick up some relatively cheap box lighting or studio style photography lighting from anything from €30 up to even 30, 40, 50 up to like €100. It should get is well above the budget of what you need to light a room or to light yourself for a live stream. As I say, you don't need to go mad on it. Just a little bit of extra lighting. Use what you have, or use the natural daylight, unless you're doing it at nighttime. And again, just pay particular attention to backlight, as your camera will will have difficulty focusing on you as a subject if there's a light coming in from behind you. Other technology can be implemented into live streaming, green screen technology. So it kind of has to work with some of the software in the laptop, or computer software to connect the green screen technology. It also requires a little bit of hardware, screens and some stands also too. But most of the live streaming software we'll be talking about has green screen implementation also, and it can bring life to your green screen. You can add throw different JPEGs and backdrops in, or you can theme it again for different nights. For example, I saw some cool Halloween green screens over the weekend, and depending on what the time is or time of year, or what the event is, and the green screens can allow you to be kind of quite adaptable if you don't have a decent backdrop or props in your area, in your working area where you're streaming from. And then finally, a camera switcher. So I talked about having an iPhone, for example. So multiple cameras have to be connected through to your streaming software, which can enable you to do angle changes, or you may have 2, 3, 4 cameras in a room. And a camera switcher is basically just a little device with your cameras numbered on 1, 2, 3, 4. Enables you to switch between cameras and get different camera angles going on, which just adds a little bit of interest for the viewer. It could be something that has a focus on if you're playing piano, close up on the keys, or a different angle on the keys, different angle on a guitar, different angle on even just on your voice, you can also have handheld cameras in there. So with a camera switcher, if you have another person in the room that has on a handheld camera, they can move around kind of freely, and you can get some cool angles in on your stream also that way. So that's some of some kind of equipment from basic to getting into a little bit more advanced. We're not really in production studio level just yet. This is all still from home. I'm still really thinking about live streaming as something you can do from home with a basic amount of equipment that you have currently available to you. It doesn't take much to get in to invest in an audio interface, or even to get a better camera or webcam and to use it in your live streams also. It frees up your phone too. That's some basic equipment. And now, as we start talking about software, this is where it can get interesting for live streaming, because this seminar is really about monetizing live streaming, and the software that we can use for live streaming, some of the ones I've mentioned up here above, really allow us to put subtle and mention calls of action, which could be either text-based or overlay-based onto our streams. If you're wondering how, for example, you can get your branding or your logos onto a stream so that it's broadcast, or sometimes you see people putting text overlays which can come across your screen with either thank yous or discount codes for merchandise, etc. There's ways of pushing all that and putting text across and overlays across on your streams. Now, certainly the most industry standard and most commonly used live streaming software is OBS, Open Broadcast System, Open Broadcast Studio, and it's free software. So it's just a matter of downloading it. I've dropped the logo in, the round circular logo there, and you should be able to find it with a quick Google search. Just take you straight to download the free OBS software. And there's a little bit of a learning curve with it. Not that easy to use initially at the beginning, but you can connect multiple cameras. You can schedule your live streams. You can record your live streams and repackage them afterwards as extra content. You can also run overlays. You can run interviews. It's fairly advanced software. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but definitely worth spending a few hours or a few days trying to get your head around OBS software. I found, and one I use myself, I use Ecamm Live. I find it to be a little bit easier to use in OBS, a bit more, if I could say, plug and play. It is subscription based, so it does cost anywhere from 15 to 20 euros per month, 25 euros per month, depending on which plan you want to subscribe to. But offers all Ecamm Live offers all the same kind of all the same features as OBS. Only Ecamm is kind of mainly as a Mac. If you're a Mac user or an Apple Mac user, it's mainly for Mac only. But it literally is plug and play. It connects to your it connects your phone, it connects your audio interface, and connects you to Facebook or YouTube or Periscope or any of the platforms you want to broadcast to, even to Twitch. You just got to sign into those and give it access, and it delivered it straight to that. OBS works slightly different in that it takes a stream key from Facebook, and you just drop within Facebook, you get the stream key for your stream, and you just drop it into OBS, and it connects to Facebook via that. There is a time delay of about 10 or 15 seconds. So if you're streaming, for example, through OBS or Ecamm, you are streaming first of all to the software, and the software is then streaming to your platform, like Facebook or YouTube, for example. And there's about a 10-second delay. So if you're in the same room, for example, you're monitoring yourself 10 seconds afterwards, or you're monitoring yourself and they're hearing you 10 seconds later, depending on and I'll talk about how I set up my studio so that it works best for you also, how you can get the best benefit of monitoring. Sorry?
Question, Mark, just on the Ecamm, does that broadcast to different platforms at the same time? In other words, you say, if you had, say, YouTube and you sign into it, and then you have Facebook and Instagram or whatever you want to do, and does it when you sign in, does it project the concert or the performance out to all the different platforms?
It can, yes, but you need an extra plugin with it. But it can. So you see, depending on what plan you're on, first of all, to start with, the free plan gives you a certain amount of time for free and a certain amount of streams. When you go into the paid plans, you can broadcast across to, say, for example, Facebook and YouTube at the same time, or even Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and etc. at the same time. But you need an extra plugin, or you need an extra service on top of that for Ecamm, and that's Restream. Now, Restream will do that all on its own. So that kind of naturally takes me on to the next one. So you would have to have a subscription for Ecamm and Restream to enable it to broadcast across to all the platforms at the same time. A little bit of a disadvantage, a little bit costly. For Ecamm, I really love the simplicity of Ecamm, which is why I like using it. It really, there's zero sync issues, and it's kind of plug and play. I don't need to think too much about my setup. I can, with OBS, is a little bit of, if I use the word, footering around to try and get it right. There's a little bit of fixing the audio, etc. Ecamm does it really well. Restream, as an option, will let you probably restream to multiple platforms at the same time. It's kind of their main strength. So you possibly look into Restream if you're looking to broadcast to multiple platforms. Ecamm can certainly do it, but you may need to buy a Restream package on top of Ecamm in order to do that.
Cheers. Yep.
No, yeah, and I know a few people that love Restream and compare it to Ecamm, and I myself am kind of thinking about maybe jumping over to Restream and trying it instead of Ecamm, because with Ecamm, if you have a 20 euro subscription and then another 15 or 20 euro subscription on top of Restream, depends on how much live streaming you want to do. I mean, it's if you're on a weekly basis or bi-weekly or once a month, it may not be worth it doing it for that, depending on what your monetization's like, but on how you're monetizing your streams. But certainly for 20 euros a month, You would hope to, for spending 20 euros a month, you're at home, it's not costing you anything in diesel or petrol moving to gigs or moving around. You should be able to invest that cost into good streaming software to get your streams up to a good level. I think it's probably worth it. It's a cost that can be justified for that. So Restream, as I say, works very similar to Ecamm and enables you to broadcast out, and it also uses stream keys as well too, similar. So it links to all your Facebooks and your YouTubes, etc. So I think a basic Restream is about $19.99 a month also for their paid service also. Okay, Switcher is again similar to Restream and Ecamm, just another one subscription based also. We can use Zoom for live streaming, and I know many artists do it, and they create a paywall for a Zoom seminar, for example, or a Zoom gig. You can limit it to, obviously, as Grace was saying, 40 people on the paid plan, but your gig's going to be for 40 minutes. But maybe if 5-10 euros per household, you could run it for parties, for birthday occasions, for special occasions. If you have a small number of fan base that you want to cater to on a more personal level and really bring them inside the gig so that they can see themselves there on the screen. You can see them when you're performing to them. So it gives a sense of a kind of bit more real than just talking into a camera, which can be difficult enough to do. Okay, the bottom two in the list of live streaming software, vMix and XSplit, really high level production. vMix in particular, so it's kind of like taking OBS and Ecamm and really applying steroids to it. It's almost like you're moving into TV production, or just a much higher level of audio, higher level of video, much more facilities and settings and features in relation to combining cameras and overlays, etc. So really quite an advance, a little bit more expensive also. So if you're going to use something like vMix, you need to be probably a regular streamer and someone that's also spending a lot of time doing using streaming as a way of reaching their audience very regularly. XSplit works exactly the same way. It's very high-end technology, great production facilities with multi-camera angles, etc. And as I say, a little bit more expensive. I can't remember what the price of vMix is, but it's a bit more. If you're really taking live streaming to a professional level, maybe you're hiring your studio out to other musicians, etc. Not as easy to do in the middle of a pandemic with kind of restrictions of people coming around, etc. But it'd be if you want to take, live streaming could become a business for similar to the way the recording studios or even photography is. I think it's, never mind monetizing your live streams, you could also go into business as a live streamer, and if you had a studio set up, something like vMix would be ideal and offer you really high quality, and it broadcasts in 4K, great HD quality. And so probably if you get your streaming up to that level, you're doing well, I think. Any questions on what we've covered in the initial part, guys? Everybody kind of following what we're doing, or any queries or questions?
I have one here.
Yes, Patrick.
Subscribers and people that subscribe, I know building up a fan base is a big part of this, and I've read up a lot on different ways of doing it. Emails and trying to keep people in and stay, doing the live shows long enough to keep people interested, to build up your fan base. But is there any other areas where you can look at to build up, or how you can build up a fan base? Obviously you want to.
Well, I would say the main area, Gabriel, I would focus on is to get not necessarily in relation to building up subscribers on a channel like YouTube or on Facebook, for example, but to think primarily about your email list and your email subscribers as being the number one asset that you may have in terms of your customers' information, your customers' data, your customers' contact, your ability to reach those customers and to engage them into your activity in any way you can. So there are many different strategies in order to build up an email list or a subscribers list, for example. And they can be probably tailored across the board, whether it's for YouTube or for Facebook also, Gabriel. But I mean, you could adopt a kind of you could use in YouTube, for example, you could use some Google AdWords, or you could use some Google advertising to push content and try and gain more subscribers on your channel. You could use Facebook marketing to make to bribe or make an offer to gain subscribers onto your email list, which you then bring into your ecosystem. But that requires a little bit of, you need to follow up then after that, Gabriel. It's only the initial stage of what in marketing they may refer to the top of the funnel type thing. And there's also a larger amount of work you'd need to do afterward to keep them within the funnel. And then hopefully you can convert them into, hopefully when they're in the funnel, you can convert them into a purchasing fan, a music fan, or somebody that purchases something off you, or that subscribes to you, or in some way gets you, in some way you monetize that customer or monetize that subscriber. So I mean, there's many strategies on Facebook to do it. Probably a good one with Facebook is to, if you've got regular content, Gabriel, is to have a regular content strategy of what you're doing on a week and monthly basis, and have a plan for 6 to 12 months. Everyone starts with, say, 0 subscribers, and you should be able to use your kind of your growth based on how many subscribers you're gaining in relation to what content you're delivering to them, or what message you're sending out there to them. A nice strategy is to use video content and to target a certain amount of viewers on a video and retarget them with a bribe offer to get them onto your subscriber list. So if you put up, for example, a live stream video or a piece of content that has maybe yourself singing or performing a song on it, in the back end of Facebook analytics, you can draw out an audience that has watched 15 seconds, 25%, 50%, 75% of that video. Create an audience from those people, and then retarget that audience after they've seen the first message, or that they engaged with your first message, which is your video. For example, if I have a video that goes out with a song, for example, and a 3-minute song, and I'll pick 4-minute song because it's easier to work it out, but say 75% viewers. So I have an audience that have watched 75% of that video. So I can create that audience within the Facebook ecosystem, and then target that audience with another offer or with another bribe to get them onto my subscriber list. And when I've got them in the subscriber list, then I can engage with them more directly, and you should have more success than, because it's difficult with Facebook unless you're using paid advertising. But I would suggest using paid advertising on some of those videos to get those subscribers in the first place.
Yes, yeah.
Does it make sense to you, Gabriel?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me. It's just, I think it's the big part of it. It is a little bit daunting to go. I've done a few live streams now, and some of my friends have done them. It's totally different to the live gig. It can be a little bit daunting, and I can just imagine trying to do it on Zoom here with, say, even 40 people.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get rid of your stage fright first of all, anyway, and try and work on the basis of being able to get enough courage to sit here with a load of musical instruments, as I do anyway, and entertain people.
Yeah.
I suppose the subject matter and know what you're at for the 30 minutes or 40 minutes is the most important part.
Yeah, it's difficult to engage when you're in a quiet room staring at a phone. Certainly, yeah, I've found that myself. But if you plan your streams in such a way that I believe, like, little subtle calls to action throughout the streams, it doesn't take much to mention that you've got a new CD out, or to point people towards your website. And it's not really you're not really pushing them in any kind of salesy way or any type of way, Gabriel. It's a very natural, like, if you like some of the music, go check it out on the website, the stores, and there's a link in the description, or there's a link on an overlay. And if you're using like some of the software I mentioned, you can put the link on an overlay to get to it. And if you think about live streaming as being content that you can regular content that you can keep your audience engaged before you or get them more engaged before they make that next conversion, which is to purchase something or to tip you or to buy a ticket for a show or something. So again, looking back at the idea of once you get in order to attract people into your fan base or into your subscriber base, live streaming keeps them really engaged. So regular live streaming on a weekly basis is good strategy to keep those people engaged. They get new content on a weekly basis, for example.
And the PayPal's working well as well then. Everybody seems to have a PayPal up now.
PayPal works well, yeah, certainly does. It also Venmo, but I think it's more kind of based around the United States. It kind of similar to PayPal, it just comes straight out of your bank account and get paid by transfer, etc. So I'll get into a little bit more of those some of those details as we're going on here now. Also, Gabriel. So, okay, guys. Any other questions, or will I just get stuck into the next section?
Sorry, Mark. I just had one question on camera switchers. Do you have any makes or models that are any good, or can you recommend anything?
Camera switchers. I use my laptop, Dave. I connect all my cameras. And this is just a really cheap option, I connect all my cameras to USB ports and a breakout USB port. And then I've programmed in numerical on 1, 2, 3, and 4 on my keyboard. So I just keep my laptop within reach and I can just go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a really easy way of switching cameras, and really doesn't cost anything other than just a USB port, which can take up to 3 or 4 different cameras. Thomann have a camera switcher around the 350, 400 euro range, which is a bit more professional. And the buttons are big enough that you could possibly also have it somewhere like at your feet, that you might be able to switch it with your feet, because I find like my hands are already tied up kind of with musical instruments and different things that are going on. It's not as easy to switch cameras when I need to, but I also know that there's ways of doing it with a laptop and a Bluetooth, so that you can program a Bluetooth switcher with your laptop. You can program it to connect to 1, 2, 3, and 4 also. So again, possibly a cheap option to do it that way, Dave, without spending too much money. Because until you start generating income from live streams, just do what you can with the technology that's available to you on hand, I believe, first. Work it in there.
That's perfect. Thanks a million.
No worries, Dave. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for coming back again. Okay. So I'll just share your screen with you again. So what we spoke about before is some of the kind of live streaming software, and here's some of the benefits of why to use live streaming software. I don't know how many of you guys are using just maybe just your cameras, or just out of the number that are on here, is any of you using live streaming software, guys, or is it just cameras and phones so far? Both? Good. Okay. So the benefits of from a kind of a more sale or marketing or monetization benefits, software is much better to get your message across subtly. You can create overlays, which may be subtle messages. They can point you towards a website. They can point the overlays. I would also push up my overlay, for example, my PayPal link, my web store link, also maybe some branding or logos across my streams, which can date them, or even like text overlays which come across would tell people what's happening next. A lot of live streamers take a few minutes to let their community build up when they first go live. So once you press the live button, you know, take 4 or 5 minutes and let your audience come into the room, come into the venue, start commenting, letting you know that they're there. And you can have overlays running and say show will be starting in a few minutes, or you can put a countdown up there. Ecamm works a nice with Ecamm's got a good countdown. OBS, you can create a clock. You know, and you can also, you know, post intro videos. You can post you know, have some live music running in the background, have some music running in the background, just to give people a sense of welcoming as they come into the kind of the live stream and into your venue as such. Like, you know, a lot of people would want to just press the phone on and go right away, and they have to be sitting at the camera. I think it's nice nowadays to, you know, and people have gotten used to it as well too, especially if you do it on a regular basis, to let your audience come into the room and have a chat amongst themselves also, and comment between themselves also. It's a good idea. Live streaming software is great for high quality audio. So going back to the idea of using an audio interface, I have a little small Behringer desk, which is USB output, and the USB connects directly to my Mac laptop, which means I can plug my microphones, my guitars, any backing tracks I'm using, anything like you know, electric guitars, any other instruments, software instruments, etc. I can bring them in through my mixing desk, mix them. So you use like headphones to mix the audio on the way in, and then also you can check it as it goes into your computer. You can check the audio, just check the mix overall. But it's a USB connection from the back of the desk straight into the computer. I also run a monitor out of the desk, which means I can either use any of your monitors in the room with me, or just a standard floor monitor, so you can hear what's coming back to you. If you're using tracks, or if you're using loop station or something, you may need to be able to hear those things in your during your performance. So definitely gives you much higher quality audio than just the phone camera. Okay, scheduling is really important for live streaming. So live streaming software enables you to set up a scheduled time. It makes an announcement on your Facebook page. It makes an announcement on a YouTube page or in your Twitch channel. So through the live streaming software, for example, on Ecamm, I can schedule a gig now for this evening, for example, and it'll post it on my Facebook page now with a kind of a countdown timer running that the gig will be live at 8 p.m., for example, or 7 p.m. So, and scheduling is really good for just letting people know where that link, where that URL is going to be whenever they arrive, or they don't have to look for it. They don't have to look for your page. They also get a notification on if they're subscribed to you, or if they're following you on Facebook, they'll get a notification when you go live or when you post a kind of a schedule, also a schedule update. You can use green screen technology with the live streaming software, as I've kind of already mentioned, and it makes it interesting if you're not in a room that you can decorate in a particular way, or if you haven't got kind of natural props that are available to you. Green screen, not expensive these days. You can buy them with those light box ideas on Amazon, again, like a photography pack with a small green screen will get you set up for fairly cheap, and they're not too expensive to get started. Like I was saying to Dave there, you can connect multiple cameras to your live streaming software, and within your software you can then select which camera you want to use, or you can switch between different cameras if you've got the technology to do that. Giving you that multi-camera angle just brings you a little bit closer, makes your streams a little bit more professional and interesting. Promote calls to action throughout your streams, on the overlays, or as I say, like by adding your website link. You can add discount codes for a particular merch that's coming out, particular merch, maybe offer a 20% discount and give the code out over your live stream, so that people can go directly to your website. It's all ways of getting people to take an action and go into, which involves, at the free level of streaming, the free level streaming, you want them to take an action like purchasing something, which is merchandise from yourself, or purchasing CDs, t-shirts, any other kind of merchandise, or tickets for events that are upcoming. So just subtle calls of action work really well, and the software enables you to be able to put those in text overlays, so you're not really pushing it down people's, it's pushing it, and it's not really in their face too often. And also, great advantage of live streaming is to be able to broadcast and repackage that content. So once you do your broadcast, you can then download your broadcast. You can divide it into chunks. You can issue songs again, and so repurpose that content. Like if there's a particular song that was recorded really well, that got good reception on your live stream, or if you just want to give somebody a 3-minute section out of your live stream, maybe your live streams for half an hour, 2 hours. And rather than pinpoint the exact minute you played a song, if you break out maybe that song or that section, repackage it, put it into a shorter video and issue it a few days afterwards so that people can watch it as a singular video, 3 or 4 minutes long. So it also gives you kind of recordings, some live recordings that you can then use for different uses. Be careful with using overlays, as your live recordings will have the overlays on them. If you've got something that's branded with YouTube, for example, and you want to use that content again and post it on Facebook or Twitch, so maybe some allowances, you may not be able to market that piece of content in the same way as you would if it didn't have a YouTube logo on it or a Facebook logo. So think a little bit ahead if you want to repackage some of your content as to what overlays you're going to use and when you're going to use them. Okay, so distributing your live stream. So we'll talk about primary distribution, pre-stream and post-stream promotion, and this comes back to kind of getting in a little bit more depth of Gabriel's question as to how to get more subscribers, how to push your live stream a little bit more. So first of all, primary distribution is generally deciding which platform or which host you want to host, where you want to host your live stream. So we've been through most of them, like Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. You can decide on choosing which, Instagram Live, whichever one suits which you feel you suits your best, wherever your kind of fan base hangs out the best. The different demographics have different socials work in different places for them. So I certainly find that Facebook has probably worked best for me. I've been working on for a good while, and I like the back end in terms of the Facebook business system and that works in behind it. You can use it to your advantage as well too. It's got a great marketing platform for use from Facebook, so it makes it easy to use. YouTube's attached to Google, so you can do similar stuff on YouTube. So once you've decided where you want to use your platform, pre-stream promotion, and this is important, and it's all about scheduling and planning, guys, and when we're doing live streams. So regularity, and if you're doing your stream, pick a time, pick a date, and be consistent on a weekly, on a daily, on a monthly basis with that time and place, so that people know where you're going to be and when. So your goal is to get as much of your warm audience. Your warm audience are those guys that already know who you are, just so that we can, just before you're not necessarily trying to get a cold audience into your streams. But the good thing about live streaming through both Facebook and YouTube is you do have an opportunity to bring people in. Bring people into your gigs that may not have heard of you before, and give you you can give a real insight of what you're all about what your music's all about, and what your message is in your music, and how you're and preparing that. Those, once they get inside there, they become a kind of a warm audience that becomes more interested in what's going on. So you keep them, that warm audience, on a stream by stream basis, coming back for more. Send emails out, send messenger links out, let them know about your upcoming stream, announce it a week in advance, announce it days in advance, so that they know when you're doing. Share it amongst your socials. Once you schedule your stream within the software, it creates, as I say, it creates an announcement on your socials or on the page that you're using, and you can then use that URL. You could boost it in an event to get people interested in the event. You can put the URL within an event, and then anyone that joins the event will know when you've gone live. So this is all getting ready for the process and making sure that people know where to go and how to find you whenever you go live. But making those announcements is really, really important. I also find that a short little video, 20, 30, 40 seconds, a few days before or the day before your stream, also just gives people a little reminder. And it's also kind of keep it casual. It's just kind of a personal touch. You just kind of going on there like an Instagram story and just make an announcement saying, I'm going to be live tomorrow at 8 o'clock, just to remind you again. Point out the link, let them know where the link or the URL is, so that they can find it really easy. And it's also it's an opportunity for you to produce extra content, even a short announcement video that you will be going live. And it's good practice also, because once you turn that camera on and start videoing yourself, it's kind of like being in a live stream. You've got to deliver a message. You get better at delivering that message within that 20 or 30 seconds if you're doing it regularly. I do a live stream on a weekly basis, twice a week now at the moment. So the day before, I normally do an announcement by video. I just, whatever I'm doing, it could be walking the dogs, it could be sitting in the car, it could be sitting at home having a coffee on a Sunday, but depending what day it is, just get my phone out, no fancy equipment, no nothing, just make that announcement. Hey guys, welcome to, I'll see you tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock again, or I'm looking forward to the live stream tomorrow. Hope you can all join me. Please share it amongst your subscribers, share it amongst your friends, and let them know onto the gig. It's just a quick little announcement, fairly casual, and keep it short. So you can do those things. You can set up an event page on Facebook, for example. It's a great way of sharing across all your socials also. So it's important to get that part. And if you do that with consistency and regularly coming up and building in your live streams, and if there's, for example, weekly, so that every Tuesday you got your event going up, every Friday, for example, you've got your little announcement video, and then you go live on a Sunday, and that happens regularly. So those are 3 pieces of content that are planned directly into your week. You can do more, of course, but just 3 simple ones to get started off. Then the final part of distributing your live stream. So these are all ways of getting your stream out there and getting it to more people, getting it to reach people. So there's also a certain amount of post-stream promotion that you can do after your stream is finished. So once it's all over, your live stream is ended. Your goal is to get as much traffic and create as much awareness amongst your warm audience, and even if you can, bring a cold audience and let them know about your stream, so you may be able to get them into your next one. You can use video editing software, break out some of your snippets of, as I mentioned before, break out some snippets from your live stream and cut them down, like using iMovie, for example. It's free in Max, and you can just cut that into some song segments and then reintroduce those snippets as pieces of content or shared videos on your Facebook. You know, let them know this is what happened on the stream on the last night when I had a live stream on. Here's just a song that often you get requests from people that are on your live stream as well. If you could get a breakout video, or to give you a little snippet of a song that they like just on its own. You can then take that song, you can post it on different platforms. You can put it onto YouTube, for example, or you can put it onto whatever other, Instagram, for example, Instagram TV, so that you're then using that content which you created during your live stream to give you more content and to distribute it amongst other socials as well, which can again just builds up your audience slowly. And I'd say, Gabriel, it's a good question in relation to building subscribers. Slow and steady always wins the race, I've found. And you know, you can imagine yourself over, like, you know, 6 months, 12 months, if you just build up slowly and win them one subscriber at a time would be my kind of approach to it. You know, the more content you can deliver, the better.
Yeah. The question on the standard of the upload. The upload, I found, just, it all depends on what phone or what you're using. But what I found was, I didn't think that the upload was good enough. The pixel was pixelized slightly, you know. But you look at an upload and you're looking at somebody that's live, you're hearing them sing or perform, but you're getting it probably, you're not getting a real time, you're getting maybe a second or 2 behind, first of all. Then the second thing then is that, well, as you explained about light earlier on, or put yourself in an area where you get full light, which helps the pixel of the upload. But then again, I had an issue with uploading because my phone wasn't able to. I wanted it in the highest resolution possible, and my phone was only going to give me so much, allow me to upload a certain speed, so I wasn't able to get the quality of the pixel that I really wanted, you know.
Yeah, it depends on which platform too. Yeah, because I know that Facebook shrinks it to 720, regardless if you upload in 1080p or HD, it'll shrink it to 720, so you can only download it in 720, for example. Again, where YouTube, you can keep it at HD. So if you upload to YouTube, for example, or if you stream to YouTube, it's much easier to retain that HD quality, breaking out some stuff from YouTube again, you know.
I didn't know that. Now that's interesting.
Yeah, I think YouTube's better all around for audio and visual. To be honest, I'm not as big a fan of it in relation to the live chat and the interaction and engagement. But I do find that I do find that, you know, the content that's up there is of much higher quality if you want to use it again, you know. So and thinking about the live streaming software, even if you're not going live, you can use that live streaming software to create that content in HD and then upload it also. So you can also do that kind of create a premiere video type thing, or you can pre-record your live streaming and issue it that way, and that'll mean that your quality is retained and you kind of maintain the highest quality as possible. I don't personally like myself the kind of pre-record and upload. I like it to be kind of live and in the moment, but you can do it that way also. And I know a lot of music festivals and virtual festivals have done it that way, where they've taken videos and had them kind of premiered, or they preloaded them so that they're ready to go, you know.
Well, that's what the English channels, the folk channels and the Irish channels are doing. They've pre-recorded everything.
Yeah, and it means that you can maintain the high quality audio and also the video, you know, before you post it. But I think it loses a little bit in the engagement of the live stream, which is kind of, I find it quite important, unless you're going to be on that live stream monitoring that upload then, or monitoring that kind of premiere of that video, where you can engage with the audience as it's going along, you know. So, but okay. So a little bit on pre-stream production. We've probably got covered most of this at this stage, but I mean, create a Facebook, and guys, also I'll be, you know, you'll get all these slides afterwards, so they'll be available to you, so you can kind of run over any of the notes also, and come back to me on any questions too. So create a Facebook, make an announcement, share the URL or link, kind of what we mentioned already, and then watch the live stream. Make the short video announcement. And send an email to your subscribers, letting them know when and where the live stream is taking place. Sounds strange to say when and where in this day and age, but in 2020, when and where means really which URL we're broadcasting from, or which platform you're broadcasting from. Okay, down to monetizing live streams. We've already mentioned kind of like, you know, how Twitch does it, how we can do it through YouTube. The most glaringly obvious one for everyone, and works for most musicians, is a PayPal link, or it's quite popular in the US. They use Venmo also. So that's monetizing your live stream. Number one is just that PayPal link, and you can depending on what your show is, what you're doing, you could do the request thing and charge €1 a song. You could charge a bulk price for it. It works really, really well if you theme a night like a jukebox night or something like that there. Definitely, I've seen it before, and I've had great success with it also. So I mean, it's definitely worth doing. You can't do it all the time, but you know, request for a song, and €1 or €2 often doesn't hit many people in the pocket too much. So and you be subscribed. If you've got a good number of viewers on there, you know, you can, you know, it can be a nice way to monetize a live stream. Create a paywall is another way of doing it. So Stage It obviously would be a way of creating a paywall where you're actually going for a virtual concert with tickets, and people have to pay to purchase the tickets. They then receive kind of like an enter code, or a code where they can go to get access to your live stream. Selling merchandise, t-shirts, CDs, anything you can put your name or your brand on. Nowadays they're selling face masks, they're selling coffee mugs, they're selling headbands, they're selling, you know, going into winter time, you could be selling hoodies, long sleeve tops. Anything you can put your brand and your name on is really, you know, I find that, you know, you can get merch made up anyway, and on any kind of a manner these days. The more merch you have, the better your store's going to look online. If you're really thinking about this as an online business, I mean, look at the trading online vouchers with Donegal Leo as well too, and really, you know, maybe repackage your website into a good e-commerce site. Think about, you know, what you can do to really boost the online side of your business. And live streaming is a great way of doing it. And maybe engage with the Leo in relation to some trading online vouchers, and get you set up with some kind of get your merch stack and your kind of your marketing stack in place in relation to your website and your e-commerce, etc. So whatever you can think of, I mean, you can get really cheap products made up with your names and your brand name and your logos on it nowadays. The markup on those is nearly always, you know, 50-75%, depending what you're selling. So it's a good way of monetizing product. Also, you know, now I think people really want to or they have certainly wanted to support musicians and support artists, and they really want to do that. And the best way of doing it is to purchase their merch. It doesn't have to be CDs. It doesn't have to be vinyl anymore. It can just be a t-shirt, and the t-shirts can sell for 20, 25, 30 euros, depending on what price you put on it. And they certainly don't cost anything yet to be produced either. It brings, selling t-shirts is also selling a walk-in advertisement for your own brand and logo also. So it's incredibly important. Coffee mugs. If you're trying to think about what to put on your t-shirts, for example, I found what really works well with me is, depending on what type of music you're doing, but people love a nice song lyric, or they love the title of a nice song lyric. Maybe you've got something inspirational in your music that you want to share. Maybe you've got some beautiful artwork from your CD or your vinyl that you want to put on a t-shirt. I mean, really this is your artistic creation. You can put one on, put what you want on your own branding, and sell it, and people will generally support. If they're a good fan of your music, they support it, and you'd be really surprised. If you ask people to support you in such a way, they will do that. You can also direct them through your live streams, for example, to become a Patreon member, or there's multiple ways that you're sending people into that funnel for monetization. You can also use a Kickstarter fund or a fund your album type thing, and use your live streams for promotions for it. So there's various ways. Sponsorships is one that works great, and I've seen it on a local level from people that are kind of locally streaming. And this is not necessarily kind of larger artists or anything. It's just kind of local people that would have been maybe playing around pubs and stuff that have gone to local businesses in Donegal or Derry and have managed to get themselves a little bit of sponsorship for their live stream, where they maybe it's a product placement, maybe it's a shout out, maybe it's a call out, maybe they wear a t-shirt that belongs to the business, maybe they use that brand and promote it a little bit. And it's a way of if you have a couple of businesses there, you could also get sponsorship from them in relation to your streams. You can use overlays to stick it on your overlays, or you can just a product placement or mention it throughout the stream, or say that the stream is brought to you by Donegal Leo, for example. That type of thing. So sponsorships, it's worth looking into if you're definitely not to be a drinks company, for example, would be a good one for a live stream. I think that any of the local drinks company that want to promote their quality beer, or their quality their gins or anything. There's a lot of craft breweries and places around nowadays. They might want a little leg up or a foot up as well too. So it kind of helps. And you've got the numbers, you've got the analytics to prove what you're doing. So you can show them what kind of viewership you have, what kind of engagement you have, etc. So it's, if you're looking for those, if you can put together a decent proposal for those people, it should, and there should be mutual benefit for both of you. Okay, post-stream production, repackaging snippets, as I've already mentioned, is a great way. Share them across your socials or on your YouTube, and we've kind of talked about how to do that. I use iMovie to break down stuff and repackage the videos. Maybe someone that's good with video editing, or get good at it yourself, and it's another hat to your bow as well too. Going back into a little bit of kind of sponsorship, or not sponsorship, but kind of paid advertising when your stream is finished. If you're using Facebook, for example, as a live stream medium, you could boost your live stream, throw a few euros behind it for 4 or 5 days afterwards, and boost out your stream so it reaches more of your engaged audience. Takes a little bit of know-how in the as to which part of your audience to advertise to. But I'm not talking about large amounts of money, but it really depends on what you want to spend. You could throw a $5 or a $10 into boosting your Facebook ad to a warm audience, and try and get more viewers, more engagement on your streams, so that more people watch it. Also, it also means that you can then retarget those people with other ads or with events, and try and get them onto your next stream. So once they start becoming engaged with your content, it means that they're kind of in your ecosystem. You can kind of serve them up more content and get them back onto the next stream again. It's a great way of priming those people. And then sharing your live stream and content to other social pages, Instagram stories, Facebook stories and YouTube, etc. So that's all post-stream production. A couple of simple, really easy ones to do there. I find that boosting a live stream, if I really want to do it and I don't want to go to the effort of spending lots of hours sharing stuff around, that I might just throw a $5 or a $10 into a live stream boost, and it'll kind of cover me for, save me a lot of work for 2 or 3 days after the live stream, and it kind of boosts up the numbers on it. Okay, a few little tips and advice in relation to live streaming that I've found to be kind of, the kind of work and I've taken from other people doing it. Consistent with your time and scheduling, I think, is definitely the most important. Pick a date, and if you want to start a regular live stream, pick a date and stick to it, pick a time and stick to it, and make sure that your audience knows that you're going to be there at that time and that place on a weekly basis or on a daily basis, or whenever you want to schedule it. You could be live streaming on a daily basis for 15 or 20 minutes if you want to do it at 3 in the afternoon and 6 in the evening, or you can pick a day per week and do it that way also. At the moment, most musicians are certainly out of work in most places, and what they do have is free time. And I really started getting into live streaming because I just kind of missed being able to perform and missed being able to play music. So it was something that it offered me a few hours on a weekly basis that I could engage with people and actually play music to a virtual audience. If they were still there, but and after a while it becomes they start to feel like they're a real audience as they start throwing comments and engaging with you. So it does take a little bit of work, but I find it very worth it in the end. In fact, I look forward to live streaming. Now it's one of the highlights of my week. Pay attention to your lighting, backlighting, windows. It's really important to make the room look good. You can bring in props, you can add in black backdrops, change your lighting around, experiment a little bit. You can also test your streams on Facebook, on YouTube, so that they only go out privately, so you know what they look like and sound like before they go to any out onto live on any platform, so you can double check what it is you're sending out. And I would advise that as well too, rather than just deciding that you're going to go live for the first time and make a schedule for it. Definitely test everything in advance. Make sure everything's working. Make sure you like the way it looks and like the way it sounds. And it's kind of like sound check. Just put the time into the preparation, and it should flow a little bit easier when you get on there. Subtle calls to action work best for musicians. I don't think, if you don't want to be too salesy, certainly in the artistic world, it doesn't coming across as being very salesy or very market based is going to show up. So I think just subtle calls to action, like slight overlays, point people towards your PayPal. If you're doing a stream, maybe 1 or 2 mentions. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to be pushing out your CDs or your merch after every song, for example. It only needs to be maybe once or twice throughout the stream. When you start streaming, think about it a little bit less like a gig and more like a kind of, they've entered your venue, and it's live streams, I think, are slightly different to like a regular gig. I would take 5 or 10 minutes, mostly 10 or 12 minutes, to have conversation with my viewers at the beginning before I've even played a note of music. Most of my streams, I give them a little bit of intro music. I'll come in and I'll scroll down through the comments and I'll welcome everybody by name. It might take me 5 or 10 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes, but I'll go down and I'll engage with them. I'll stop after every few songs and figure out what's happening in the comments, try and answer back and engage with them. I'm also a viewer on streams. I watch a lot of live streams myself, and I find that people like to have their name called out. They like to be, they like you to call out their comment. They like you to share their comment with others. They like to feel part of the community. It's like being in the venue, and while a lot of people may not find that live streaming is as engaging, I almost find it nearly more engaging than a regular gig, and that I can converse more with the audience, even though it is through kind of virtual. They can converse with me. They can ask for requests. They can let me know how things been going on for their week. It's really where they are in the world, what time it is in the world, if they're having their breakfast in Australia, or if it's evening time, and or if it's afternoon in the US. It's take time out to bring your audience with you along on the journey. It's really important. Be careful with copyrighted materials. I got a few strikes myself on YouTube and on Facebook for different silly things that I've done for, background music that that belonged to somebody else that was copyrighted. Be very, very careful. Facebook are really clamping down on recorded music that doesn't belong to you if you're running it. So I found a good way of getting around that there is if you're using music, is use music from maybe local independent artists that may not have registered their stuff in such a way that is going to throw up a copyright infringement. So if you're looking for some intro music, also Facebook and YouTube have royalty-free sections of music, and you can take some of that. You can use that there. You can use those archives for playing music if you want to. I know that DJs, I know that certain kind of karaoke style performers do get flagged a lot on copyrighted material. So Facebook's particularly clamping down on it. I got flagged and blocked on YouTube last week for playing a song that was just a little bit too close to the original. So you can also do so I did a cover of a song. I probably should have made it a little bit more unique than I did. I kind of covered it as close to the original as possible. I got flagged with it and got blocked. YouTube didn't take my video down. They just told me if I want to remove the section out of it, I can do that. So I did. I just took the 4-minute section out, and then it's back up there again. They do give you plenty of warning. If you play any kind of music on YouTube, you will get that belongs to kind of a major label artist, you will get a copyright warning on it. It'll basically tell you that you can't monetize the video because the music belongs to someone else. So it's nothing to be too worried about, but just be careful with certain copyrighted materials. You're normally okay with your own music, your own material. You're normally okay with unique covers and acoustic style covers. You're normally okay with also. Although I have seen some artists that own their own music and still get flagged and get blocked for playing their own music too. So, fingers crossed, but most of the time it seems to be okay. And afterwards, a little bit of post work after your stream. Go through your stream, respond to your comments if you didn't see them at the time. It can be a little bit time consuming. If you've got a large audience on your stream, you could be looking at hundreds and hundreds of comments. It may take you a few hours to do it. It's definitely worth it. You pick up on requests, you pick up on questions that have been asked on you. So you can respond to those comments. You tag the person's name as you respond to the comments. It means that person will probably likely come back in and visit your stream again and watch a little bit again in the days following. So you'll also boost your numbers and boost your engagement that way. So try your best to go back and engage with as many comments as you can. Thank the people for being there. And what you're really doing is just building an audience that are going to come back on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis to see what you're doing. And if you can do that, you're kind of, you will find that you've got that engaged audience. And as you introduce more kind of monetization for yourself, like either CDs or PayPal, etc., that audience will give back to you if you give out to them. You're given a free gig unless you're doing like you're charging a paywall for like Twitch or like Stage It or something like that. So it's the best way of kind of keeping your fans engaged and keeping them within your ecosystem. Okay, guys, I'm kind of coming to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, let me know now. We're gonna have a bit of a chat about it. I'm gonna leave my email, etc. will be there, and anything you need to follow up on, please. Don't be afraid to get in touch with anything at all. So I'll throw it open to any questions and any queries you may have.
Mark, are you based with your music?
Letterkenny, Donegal, Gabriel.
Letterkenny. Yeah.
What about yourself? Where are you?
I'm in Donegal, up in Carndonagh.
Okay, grand. Yeah, okay, very good. And have you been doing much streaming, Gabriel?
I did nine streams.
Okay.
And I was just about getting used to at the end of it. Although I just did live streams just basically to get back into. I play a few instruments, So during the gig, I do a lot of playing of different instruments to speak about the songs and the instruments that I'm playing. And it's a very visually it's a good show because I go through a lot of different instruments and the performance normally about 30-40 minutes, and they went really well, extremely well for me, But I didn't draw down any PayPal or tips jars or that like that, because I kind of felt, you know, putting it up. I don't know what it is about your audience. You know, it's like I just feel like it's begging. You know.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way with the PayPal link. I would have said that too. Again, it does work. So I mean, initially when I put it up at the start, I just thought I'm probably not going to get anything other than a few euros out of this. But I was genuinely very surprised when I first looked at it. You know, it was like, right, okay, this is you know, this is as good as going out and doing gigs. You know what I mean? Like I don't, you know, for the effort that's required for it and for the return.
Well, there's a mate of mine made a grand there last night or the other night there. You know, I know loads of people who are doing that because I'm very much attached to the dairy side of things, more so than the Donegal side of it because I've been in there for some time.
Yeah.
And guys are doing quite well. Yeah, it is working for people, you know.
It is, and also, like, you know, I talk a lot about. I've talked a lot about there about merch and kind of calls to action to push your merch and push. Like that works really well as well. Also, I mean, I had an album scheduled for release in March when the pandemic, so the only way I could release the album was online. But I mean, like I sold countless numbers of CDs online through live streams that I never would have been able to, and merchandise also that I never would have been able to do as a result because the pandemic shut everything down. You know. And I honestly didn't think it would work so fluidly, but it really does, you know. It really does. And people will buy digital downloads, they'll buy CDs. I say they'll buy anything with a name or a brand on it if you package it and make it nice for them, you know. Also,
Mark, can I ask you about copyright?
Sure.
If you've bought the backing tracks, can you still can you still play those backing tracks on Facebook and what have you?
Okay, so yes, you can, Pauline. Facebook haven't, although Facebook threatened to do a lot more in relation to taking down, like in practice they haven't done it at all, Pauline. Those threats that were running around there in September about Facebook stopping all live streams and etc. That we've been running the month of October now. I haven't seen that happen in any of the regular streamers at all. Most people are like, I use backing tracks myself that have, like yourself, that have probably purchased from YouTubers or from MP3 sites, etc. I've had no issues with backing tracks. I know another few artists that have no issues with backing tracks at all, paid ones and also free ones, Pauline. So I mean, I'm not exactly sure what Facebook or what they mean by their copyrighted material, but they seem to be letting backing tracks with people that are singing and performing over them go okay, you know.
I did hear from a couple of my musician friends who are live streaming that if you are just singing to the backing track, they're more likely to come down on you. But if you play an instrument along with them, I mean, I play guitar with my backing tracks anyway, so. Yeah. But if that's what I heard, that if you play your instrument or somebody's playing an instrument in the if there's two or three of you and somebody, at least as long as one person is playing an instrument, normally you're okay. If you're just standing and singing to the track, it's
that's good. And that is a good tip too. If you can put a real analog instrument into it somewhere along the way, it'll confuse the bots enough to let it pass.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. I guess anybody got any other questions? I can show you a quick view of what Ecamm looks like if you want to have a quick look at some of the overlays and how to do them. I'm already sharing the screen. If any of you guys want to have a quick look at it, I've got a few minutes. I can just do that at the moment. Where do we see? So this is Ecamm streaming software is kind of what I use, similar to the OBS, but you'll see how it works now. Okay, so anything I've got here at the moment, this is basically just a template I'll use for a Sunday live stream. Over on this side, you can see that I have kind of some features over on this side here. These are overlays. I can move them around, place them where I want. They're just basically JPEGs or PNG. This is text overlay. I can write in what I want. I've got my tip jar and my links down here. So to change any of these, if I click on them, I can put in whatever text I want. It allows me to kind of change those around. It's spinning at the moment. I don't have a camera connected other than my Facebook camera. So and down here in this section down here, it's asking me where I want to push the destination to. So when I click on it, I can see Periscope, Twitch, YouTube, restreams down there. And then I can also just record, which means I can just record the stream as well. So it saves me from, so if you want to record like a music video with yourself playing live, you can just record a live video that way. So your cameras are already fed in, and the audio and the camera will sync together. So I'm posting it to your timeline, and I can down here I can schedule it and set up a schedule live, for example, and it'll make an announcement on my currently connected to Facebook down here. So we'll make an announcement on my Facebook. So that there shows me what comments are coming in, so I can monitor the comments. Some cool features over here. I've got some kind of, you're looking for some canned audience laughter or something. You can add that one. There's different. So sound effects, and you can add those. You can download them yourself and add them in. Down here we have green screen, so you can make it look like a bit more like this, or you can, could take us out to the beach instead. So they and you can upload your own kind of backdrop for these also. So, and the fade levels, just that's what they do, but they've got multiple kind of. They're nice for kind of creating a vibe for it. They're also good for interviews and for like Zoom and this type of thing also, so it's got that green screen technology, and then tells me about the audio and that's working properly, and how the audio is working and the cameras are working. And these are just some of my overlays that I use. For example, if I'm doing something like this one, just comes across. I can just activate those really simple, just from clicking on them and opening up. So that's one type of an overlay. Or you can do like virtual, send a message out, virtual passing a hat around and highlight your. And you can really make those anything you want, So you can also play videos from it as well too. So if you wanted to. Play some of your own music videos or play some of your own music, you can do that also. Trying to get this moved in so I can get access to it. But so in here I have on camera or my source, I can go and play a video file also. So if I go to do just something simple for a minute, let's see. So we do allows me then to just play a video as well. Anyway, so back on the camera again. So, and then I can share screen from the software as well. So similar to Zoom. Okay, that's kind of Ecamm, and there we go.
Do you use Twitch or
no, I don't use Twitch now, but I'm certainly considering it. I'm certainly considering using Twitch because of the kind of the subscription and the 50/50, and also just building up that audience. It is a great way of monetizing if you want to put a kind of spend a year or two on it. Gabriel, I would say it'd be something that you'd probably see the benefits in, as using it as a platform. I know of a lot of kind of bigger level artists are using Twitch because it guarantees them a certain kind of monetization from their streams, And I don't know what's happening with PayPal, with the PayPal and Facebook at the minute. I hear rumors that Facebook are going to stop streams that have PayPal links on them, but it could just be rumors also. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. And as I say, I'll pass on the screen notes to Grace, and she can forward them on to you. And any questions at all or any queries, guys, get in touch with me. I'm open to contact, so feel free to get in touch.